Well, hello, and welcome to Dan Pierce's Hawks Nest Drive Garden Update. We've lived here since November 2016, and I have been working the land. Here we go. This is the beautiful rose plants right at our back door. Let's take a look at the deck garden. You can see I have a hops vine growing that's really vigorous. I harvest the hops flowers or the hops seed pods for teas. Here we have some lovely cannas that I've been growing. They're just starting to bloom. Here's two little cherry tomato plants that I grew from a seed. And of course there's my cactuses and other things that I'm growing. Here's more of my deck garden. I've got small cucumber type bush plants and some greens growing here and some flowers. Really nice. It's our nice deck. And we'll take a look at my recovering raised bed down there. This is the first and the largest raised bed or garden, vegetable garden I've ever had, and I'm really proud of it. Looks really good. We're working a lot back here, starting to clear out weeds and invasive plants. It's going to be a work in progress that's going to take a few years, but I've got it started. Okay. So we've done a lot of work in the backyard, re-establishing the landscape, redefining the beds, and starting to work with the plants and see what has to be taken out, what needs to be thinned, and what needs to be restored. There you go. Let's keep going. That is a Jerusalem cherry that I've been growing for over 15 years. I grew it from a seed, and I've trained it as a bonsai plant. It looks really good. It's doing good. Okay. There's the hops. I'm looking forward to those hops I can harvest later and make a wonderful, relaxing tea. Here we have some St. John's wort that found its way to my garden, which I love. I have lots of mixed beds. I have mixed beds of herbs and flowers and vegetables. This is my herb garden. I've got parsley, sage, chives, anise hyssop, lovage, feverfew, among others. There's a buddleia that will eventually bloom beautifully. Here's the continuation of the herb garden. I got thyme down there, more lovage. Got some beautiful roses blooming. Let's take a close-up of these. These poor roses were in such bad shape when I moved in, but they are doing so beautifully now after I took out all the dead wood, all the diseased parts, and I'm still working on them. But that is especially beautiful. Here we got some mint. We have a beautyberry bush over here, and some nice little impatiens. I created this whole bed last year. The grass was growing right up into the plantings, and I pulled it up, moved it out about a yard. I'll probably make it bigger eventually. And these are irises that I moved from other places. Here we have, right here, is a hardy kiwi and a few ornamental bean plants that I hope to grow up this. I hope that hardy kiwi takes off. This is kind of my work area nursery back here. I've got things growing in small pots that I'm relocating to other areas. I found them buried underneath tons of stuff. This is my elephant ear plant that I've kept going for a few years. I still like it. You can see over here, a couple pansies still surviving. My avocado tree, which I'm going to have to cut back hard again, and my oleander, which has gotten very wrangly. I finally got flowers from it, but I can't possibly bring it back in the house at that size. So when the flowers are done, I've got to cut it back really hard. Oh well. Okay, so the yard, here's our backyard. It's very nice. I've been working with these beds of shade plants and other plants, and so let's take a look at them. I opened up this whole area and started to put in an herb garden, and also uncovered a lot of other plants that were here that were buried under weeds and aggressive plantings. If anyone knows what this lovely plant is, please let me know. It's not Japanese knotweed, but it does have a kind of bamboo-like soft stalk. It dies back to the ground in the fall, and it's actually quite lovely. It does spread by runners, but I've been kind of keeping a close eye on it and cutting it back in some places. But it's kind of nice. I think it was put here. I'm just hoping it's not an aggressive perennial of some sort. Here I have stevia, and I have some, what do I have here? White sage, clary sage, silver sage, horehound, valerian root, angelica, some tobacco, which I hopefully picks up later, and a beautiful little variegated hydrangea that I cleaned up and unburied. I had to do a lot of that. You can see back there I'm starting to get through things. It's going to be a work in progress. I planted a blueberry bush. I'm going to be taking out more of these Ragusa roses. Not all of them, but they are really aggressive. Man, they just grow everywhere. They send out runners underneath the ground, and they come up all over. But they do have wonderful large rose hips, which are really great for drying and making teas. You could even, if you wanted to, you had the gumption, you could even make a jelly or preserves from it, something. But I just dry them out for tea. They're going to get bright orange, and then I'll harvest them. I'm not going to take them all out, but I'm going to have to get control of them. Here's another little area that I opened up. I unburied this hydrangea. This was all so overgrown, and it's going to be if I don't keep working on it. I got a little Three Sisters garden here. Some corn, some squash, some beans, some cucumbers, and I just did this for fun to see what would happen. I hope to make terraces. As I clear everything, I hope to not completely clear, but choose what I'm going to leave, and then make little terraces where I could grow squash and corn and make Three Sisters. Here I have a canna lily that I've been growing. I got them all over the place. They keep multiplying, and I keep them over the winter in a paper bag under the stairs. So we got some more blueberry bushes over here, and some more relocated hostas. And here this hedge was completely overwhelming. It came all the way out to here, and I cut it back, and I'm going to have to keep doing that in order to allow all these plantings down here to reestablish. These were completely buried. They didn't bloom last year, but now they are. Over here, I got a wolfberry bush starting. It is getting stronger. I'm going to have to cut back some of the stuff around it so it can really get a good start. But it was pretty weak when I bought it, but I think it's going to be okay. All right, let's take a look at the vegetable garden. As you might know if you followed me on Facebook or knew me, my vegetable garden was inadvertently sprayed with Surge herbicide at the last lawn spraying. And this part of the garden was completely a loss. I had to throw everything away. It was wilted, and it was melting. And the company that does our lawn spraying did a great job in helping advise me how to fix it. They were very apologetic, and they gave me money to replace this part of the garden. They also gave me a lot of good advice on how to salvage this part. There was some damage here, and you can see here, that's some of the leftover damage of the herbicidal spray, and I'll probably cut those off, but they were a lot worse. But they are recovering. The cucumbers, the squash, and the tomatoes are indeed recovering, but you could see all the spotting was from the spray, and some of the spray was so bad the leaves were melting, but we're getting back in shape. They did give me money. I was able to replace a lot of things. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know. Okay, it's probably nothing. I better keep an eye on these things. You know, I have to come out every day and look at the tomatoes and look at what's fruiting and look how they're doing. These are my tomato plants. I've got 4 different types. These are my early girls. They're doing really good. The tomatoes look really bad after the herbicide spray, but they are coming out of it, and I was told that they will be safe to eat. So there it is. There's all the cucumbers. They've come back. Even though there's some damage to the leaves, they're going to be okay. I'm happy about that, and they were really good about helping me out here. So this is the back part of the garden. I've got iceberg lettuce growing, dinosaur sage, red kale, dinosaur kale, red Russian kale, chard, beet greens, and I got some peas. I'm just trying to see if I can get some peas. I know it's late, but we'll see. All right, this is the back part. So this is the report of my garden, Hawk's Nest garden update, the backyard. All right, the backyard. It's going to be great. Everything is working out in spite of recent recent issues regarding herbicide. Alrighty, thanks for watching. I'm gonna go do the front yard now.